What's up guys, my name is JDCup5 and welcome back to an episode of the F1 My Team Career Mode. This time we are in Brazil, but before we do so we've got to adapt some more parts, and as you can see we've pretty much done it on the powertrain side of things, so we are pretty much updated with the rules and regulations that are needed to be as we go forward to next season. We have only got 3 races. We've got Brazil, Vegas and Abu Dhabi, but all focus is on Brazil then as we complete some practice programs. One of them we did the qualifying and I think we did alright. As you can see we're at the top of the grid as of the moment, but looking at the practice programs we didn't do too bad, and this is a circuit I quite like in all honesty. I'm quite familiar with it. It's nothing that's too complex. I feel like it's a very fast flowing circuit, but it's very kind of easy at the same time. There's no real kind of tight corners and there's a few fair straights with a good DRS points. Also a lot of speed to be gained on this track and a lot of excitement to be made also. Not many overtaking points may I say on this track though. There isn't a point where you can really go for it. There has to be moments where you have to take your chances and kind of go from there more than anything, but we have to kind of move on and see if we can do anything. So the practice program wasn't going too bad whatsoever, as we did a qualifying program and we also did one for the ERS, which is normally quite simple and kind of explanatory in itself. As we go to complete the practice programs we shall see what we end up at the end of practice 1 then. Looking forward to the sprint race, the qualifying and everything else also. So we've got qualifying, we've got a sprint race, and then we've got the main race. P2 for practice then, as we were 200th of a second off of Lewis Hamilton without even trying in all honesty. So that stands us in a good place for the qualifying sessions in Brazil as we kind of wait and see if what we can do and prepare ourselves. Setup being acknowledged and known to what we need to do on the car. We needed to have it as a sharp setup to be able to have the best we can possibly do around this circuit, as Lewis Hamilton claims the fastest lap straight away before we even go out. And as you can see we're going down the pecking order very quickly as the drivers go out and correct their times, and we're trying to get the fastest lap we possibly can, and it seemed to do that. We did really well. Lando Norris doing the fastest lap, but we have got a purple sector. Someone else though going faster than me. I think that is George Russell just behind me, as you can see in the Mercedes. That might be Lewis though, you never ever know, I'm not too sure, but they got the fastest sector 1 as ours turns to green as we look to push on in this lap then, as we can see now as we're going through these corners, and these are really tight, don't get me wrong. There's not a lot of speed to be gained through this area of the track, but if you're really precise and you get it on the button, then normally you can do really well round in Brazil. I feel like I've done well in previous F1 games also, so it's something that is kind of advantage to me. I have come into many times where I don't feel like I've been doing well whatsoever. A purple sector 2, green again then, as you can see whoever is behind me is definitely setting a fast lap as we look to go over the checkered line then. A very long straight as you hit a DRS point midway through, and as we go over the checkered line then we're going to be awaiting to see what lap time we've completed in this first lap, a 109.8, and that puts it on the fastest lap initially, but that only puts us to P4. Very good qualifying, as you can see. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, the 2 Ferraris, starting on the front row for the sprint race. As you can see, Max Verstappen making up the final position in 3rd.
It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start 2nd. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Cook, Gasly, Norris, Russell, Hamilton, Perez, Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Sonoda, Joe, Stroll, Albon, Bottas, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Massa, Sargent, and Nick de Vries. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Here we are then, the sprint race. As we wait on the grid, we are P4 and we're waiting for the 5 lights out and away we go. There we go. That was a bit long-winded as Carlos Sainz and Leclerc is right in front, and we get past Carlos Sainz wheel to wheel with Verstappen as we're going to try and see if we can outbrake Leclerc, but we're going to have to slot into P2, and that is a very, very good start for us as we look at our engine problems. That might be an issue come the next actual race, so we're going to worry about that next race. So I think we'll be okay this race, but that is going to be something to note. Maybe we might have to start back of the grid. Who knows? As we charge on then, Charles Leclerc just in front with Lando Norris getting up to P3 with Verstappen in 4th and Carlos Sainz dropping into P5. Not the best of starts for the Spaniard as he drops down the pack. As I say, he started in P2, so that's an unfortunate one for Carlos Sainz, but it's not to be, and he has to try and push on and gain up the field then as we've got Lando Norris in our rearview mirror. A very, very good start from the plucky Brit. As we've got Charles Leclerc, the man from Monaco, just in front. He made an awesome start, keeping his first place and going very, very good into turn 1 then as we maintain our speed and look to try and see if we can do anything. Might just slot into this place and kind of maintain our speed and everything else. I'll be happy if that is the case. Who knows then as we go and complete the first lap as we go on top of the hill. And it's weird because you go up the top and you go round as you go down to the bottom, but it is a very fast part of the track. No DRS enabled as of yet, as that we're going to have to wait till lap 3 for that to be enabled then. And the fastest lap being made by Charles Leclerc as we go late onto the break. As you can see on your screen now, Charles Leclerc is right in front of us. We have gained a decent bit of time as we gained a lot there through that corner. But nothing to be said that lap as Charles Leclerc once again claims the fastest lap of a lap 2. He is definitely on one. Lando Norris maintains P3 as Verstappen's in P4 and Carlos Sainz in P5. No real change and no real action to really report on as we try and close the gap to Charles Leclerc. And we are going to get DRS as it is lap 3. Whether that's going to make any sort of a difference whatsoever, we do close the gap really well. Whether that will make any difference is to say, as we do get a fastest sector 1, purple sector 1 there, but we go wide on that corner, losing a lot of time to the man from Monaco, and we have to maintain P2 for the moment in time. And as you can see, the laps continue and the positions do not change whatsoever. The only real difference you can see on the left hand side of your screen is Max Verstappen has gone up to 3rd, Carlos Sainz in 4th and Lando Norris in 5th, so a little bit of change in that terms, but we're still in the same position of what we were previously because we are right on Charles Leclerc, but we just don't seem to be able to make the move whatsoever and make that little bit of difference where we can get past him. But who is to say what we will be able to do then as we go on the charge. And we have got 2 laps left of this Grand Prix. We're lap 6 of 8 and we are completing the final few corners as we complete lap 6, going on to lap 7, wide into that corner, losing a lot of time. And as you can see in the rear view mirror, only just slightly, but Max Verstappen is there, 900 of a second, just splits us, and he's definitely going to be making a way up as he has got 2 laps to be able to make amends and see if he can get up into P2. Not the best of starts for the world champion, but it's not to be this time round as we charge on. And we are fast through that bit, but we just don't seem to be able to get on the power quick enough as we go over the curbs, and we just don't seem to be able to get the car better kind of compared to what the Ferrari is. But as you can see, and as I was saying, Max Verstappen is right on our rear view mirror, and he's going to try and make a look and make a pass as he goes from left to right, trying to see what the best option is for Max, and it's not to be as we collide with Max Verstappen. The car went from side to side, as you can see. No FIA warning for myself, whether there was for Max Verstappen, who is to say. But we are on lap 8 of 8 then, the final lap of this sprint race. We are in the same position, but that might change as Max Verstappen goes past us. He's got the DRS, the hands are being thrown as he does make another collision with us. Dirty racing from the Dutchman, but that's not kind of a thing that he's thinking of at the moment because he is into P2. No penalties being penalised for the Dutchman as we try and maintain our car on the track. We're really fighting as the softer tyres seem to be wearing away very quickly, and we're pushing it at the kind of hard end of the track. And this is where we've kind of had 8 laps on it now. The temperatures might be really high up, and it might just be that the grip isn't there though, as we are in P3, Max Verstappen in P2, Charles Leclerc in P1. Carlos Sainz is a fair bit behind me. He's a 1.2 second gap. We can see him in the rearview mirror, but I don't think he's going to make any sort of difference as we complete the final few corners then, and Max Verstappen's just in front of us. I don't think we're going to make any leap on the world champion as it looks to be then. Charles Leclerc in first, Max Verstappen in second, myself in third then, and you've got Carlos Sainz in fourth and Lewis Hamilton completing the top 5 as this race comes to an end. Not the most exciting races, and honestly not a lot of action to be done whatsoever, but we will take it nevertheless as we complete this Grand Prix then, and a decent Grand Prix. We're in the top 3, not many points being scored in the sprints as we all know, and a driver of the day going to Charles Leclerc. So not the best of sprints in all honesty. I mean, the result was good, we get 6 points away from it, but it was just no real action. There was no real battles and there was nothing really to put on show. But we look forward to the main race though. We're going to be slotting ourselves third on the grid this time around compared to 4th, 1 place above, and as you can see, Charles Leclerc will be starting first and Max Verstappen in second. But as I say, it's the engine problem from what we was initially talking about at the start of the race. Penalties are going to have to be given out, and I'm talking about we're going to be starting in third. We're actually going to be starting at the back of the grid because that engine is not going to last the whole Grand Prix. There is no way, and even if it were to, the power is definitely not going to be there, and we're going to be losing so much time. It's not worth it, and we're going to change it to be able to kind of better our race.
Welcome along then to where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the very final corner. Just 1 year later, Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's time then for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3. That gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Gasly, Russell, Perez, Ocon, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Stroll, Joe, Massa, Norris, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Bottas, De Vries, Sargent and Cook. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. They've been involved in a number of costly incidents lately. That's got to affect their mindset going into this race.
It's not an ideal situation by any means. When you get into a bad run like that, there's always a risk of frustration creeping in, which can cause more mistakes and locks you into this vicious cycle. Hopefully today they can get through Turn 1 cleanly and stay calm for the rest of the race.
Here we are then, the first time I said this is at the back of the grid in Sao Paulo as we wait for the 5 lights out, and we're going to be gone any second now, and away we go. Pierre Gasly in 22nd, but he's not. That's a bit of a strange one, but we go past Logan Sargent, go past Nick de Vries, you've got Bottas there, Hulkenberg just in front. We are making a massive gap up as we do collide initially, and there are people everywhere, as you can see, not used to this whatsoever, making sure the car is all good, and it is, yes it is. Gohan Zhou just in front, Felipe Massa, our teammate, he's all the way up into 12th. That is a very, very good start in his home Grand Prix, and this is the decent start for us also as we make our way from the back of the grid as we've got Gohan Zhou, Felipe Massa's just there. I'm pretty sure you've got another AlphaTauri machine in Yuki Tsunoda. I'm not too sure in all honesty, I can't really make it out. Actually that's an Aston Martin's, that's the Stroll. You've got Fernando Alonso, and we're trying to see if we can get past our teammate Felipe Massa as we edge our way past Gohan Zhou in the Alfa Romeo machine. This has been a hectic start, that is to say, as we try and see if we can outbrake Massa. Yes we do. Now we are slotting ourselves into P12, a massive gap being made up straight away in this Grand Prix as we've got Lance Stroll of the Aston Martin just in front, as we can see if we can try and outbrake him. Yes we can. What an overtake that is, and that is a decent start, that is to say, as we're now in P11, an overtake back marker for whatever reason. As I say, I mentioned that Gasly was meant on to 22nd, there was nowhere near he was 22nd. As much as it says it on his screen right now, he's actually all the way up there, so for whatever reason it's overtake back marker, that makes a difference. We get past Fernando Alonso with absolute ease. Caution sector 2 for whatever reason, maybe because of the slow kind of speed going through that corner for few of them. Yuki Tsunoda is just in front of us in P8 then as we look to complete lap 2 of 25. A really good few laps, and we've made a kind of decent dent in this Grand Prix as we got fast sector 1, green sector 2. Whether that's going to kind of turn out to be a decent lap for us, not a fastest one, but DRS is enabled then, and we're going to try and look to go faster as we've got Yuki Tsunoda just in front. He's not going to get DRS on Esteban Ocon, so it's all time to tell if we can try and see if we can get past him whatsoever. We are now lap 3 of 25 then. We're going to try and see if we can get past him. We've got DRS, whether it's going to be on this straight or the other one as we close the gap, and we are right on him. We're going to try and go late onto the brakes, whether that's going to make a difference. Yes it is. His line is completely to the right hand side, nowhere near the inside of the curb, and through we go on the Yuki Tsunoda, as we've got Esteban Ocon just in front, 1.6 seconds. Alexander Albon having a really good Grand Prix in that Williams machine. He's in 6th, he's 2.3 seconds ahead. So the charge is definitely on to try and see if we can make up as many places before we do have that pit. That is going to be the really important part, to see if we can make any time up whatsoever and put the charge on to the other people just in front. Here we are then, we're at the end of lap 4 of 25 as we complete the final few corners. The time is being made up on Esteban Ocon as we do go wide through that corner. Not the strongest of parts of the track as we try and see if we can make the charge on now. We're going to get DRS, it's only 800 per second from myself and Esteban Ocon. 2 green sectors, whether that'll make it a purple and the fastest lap overall. Yes, it will, 111.7. That is the fastest lap of this Sao Paulo Grand Prix as of the moment, as Esteban Ocon is just in front of us. We're going to try and see if we can make any time on him whatsoever. The Alpine machine doesn't look slow whatsoever. It's taken us a few laps to be able to get where we are, as we can see Alexander Albon now. Definitely a lot of time being made up as we try and see if we go low onto the brakes through Esteban Ocon. We go wide initially. He's going to have the switchback. He's going to try and see if we can get past us. Not to be for the Alpine machine, and Esteban Ocon has to slot himself into P8. We're up into P7 then as we complete the final few corners of lap 5. We've got Alexander Albon just in front and Sergio Perez on the harder tyre in the Red Bull machine. Not too sure who makes the top 5. We will see as we gain up our times on the grid. We've got Alexander Albon just in front. The DRS is being used. ERS is completely drained. I don't know if we can get low on the brakes. We're going to try. Fastest lap 111.6, and we are through on Alexander Albon, and Sergio Perez is just in front with George Russell in the horizon. The fastest laps are being made, so we are definitely fast out of the grid. It is just being able to try and see if we can make it count for sure as we pit this lap then, as we look to try and see if we can do anything in this Grand Prix. We're going to be going on to the medium set of tyre as we look for a fast pit stop as always. Normally the kind of average time is a 2.3, 2.4 as we go in and we turn in, and that is going to be an optimal stop. Whether that will be a 2.3, who is to say? Yes, 2.3, a very good pit stop, and away we go then as we look to join the pack. A lot of time is being made up on Logan Sargent. If that overtake back marker is on again, so that is definitely a glitch in the game. A purple sector on their medium tyres. Through we go on the slow machine of Logan Sargent. Sorry, Nick De Vries just in front, holding us up slightly as you've got Nico Hulkenberg there. Not too sure if I've actually mentioned this, but he is retiring in this save, so no Hulkenberg for next season. That'll be interesting to see who fills the void in the Haas machine, but all focus on trying to get past this lot as we go wheel to wheel with Nick De Vries. He's not giving that space up lightly as we do go through. Eventually we've got Nico Hulkenberg just in front then as we look try to see if we can have an overtake on Nico. Gohan Zhou is on the harder set of tyre for whatever reason, so I think it will be a bit easy to be able to overtake him. Lay onto the brakes through Nico, and through we go. A tight space, but we make it kind of as much spacious as we possibly can to be able to make this car fit through it. And through we go on Nico then as we go late onto the brakes in this corner. And as you can see, we're making up the time as the corners come. Gohan Zhou just in front, he's in 17th, I'm in 18th as we try and make the places up. There are going to be people pitting also, so that is not to forget about. We are going to be making a lot of spaces up. Whether the pit stop work for us is another thing, but we shall see as we try and look to see if we can go past Gohan Zhou. He switched to the right and we switch to the left, and through we go on Gohan. Teammate in the pits then. A lot of people will be in the pits, and this is going to be interesting to see who we do go past and what we do jump up to. And I'm pretty sure that's going to put us up to P10, P11 currently. Lewis Hamilton just in front. Charles Leclerc is pitted also. You can see Lewis coming out the box as we try and see if we can maintain a decent bit of time on Lewis, and he is just in front of us then as we go into complete lap 13 and 25. Our medium tyres are all warmed up. It's going to take him a lap or so to be able to get his tyres warm, but this is going to be interesting to see if that's going to make any difference whatsoever. Normally when they're on the colder set of tyres, it will make a difference where we're trying to jump up a second or so. Whether that's going to be the case now as we go on the DRS. No ERS as it's all being drained as we go late onto the brakes past Lewis Hamilton. Yes, we do. Brilliant overtake, a lovely overtaking spot, and a really agonising one at the same time. It could go really wrong or really good, that is to say, as we now go through on Lewis Hamilton. We're up into P3 as the other people pit. Now, it might go back into P4 though as Lewis Hamilton is battling with us. A purple sector on. We do battle, as you can see. We go wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton. A slight collision being made. A vehicle condition check is being made, and that is all good on our front. That was a kind of strange one in all honesty, but we are through on Lewis in the end. That battle was put up, and as you can see, Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen is just through, but Lewis is making the battle really hard for himself as he's going to get DRS. Back down to 4th we go then, as we try and see if we can kind of retain that position. Lewis Hamilton looks really strong on that medium set of tyre. We are going to get DRS on that straight, whether that's going to make any sort of a difference, because that Mercedes machine looks very quick, and the seconds might just get away from me in the end. But that is to be said, as we're going to be battling with Lewis then. The fastest laps are being made by a multiple load of drivers as his times keep on changing. Lewis Hamilton maintains their position on that DRS straight, and as I say, there's not many overtaking points on these set of corners, but we are going to try and see if we can gain as much time as possible and get on his rear view of his car as we're going to go late onto the brakes. This is an overtaking spot, but we've made it, and through we go on the Brit of Lewis Hamilton, and we are on lap 15 of 25 then. 10 laps left of this Sao Paulo Grand Prix. It is shaping up to be a very exhilarating one. I'm so glad it has been much better than the sprint race, because there was not much action whatsoever. But we're going to continue then, as we're on lap 18 of 25. The same position of ourselves and Lewis Hamilton is just behind us. Sergio Perez has made a decent gap. He's on the softer tyre. Obviously he opted for the hards on the starts, but he is now on the softer tyre. He is definitely going to be fast, and we've still got a few laps left as Lewis Hamilton is still trying to trouble us. He's gone onto the right hand side. We have got the inside curb as we kind of go a clean overtake, and Sergio Perez once through as well. That is a brilliant overtake by the Mexican as he looks to try and see if he can take a look at us now. He is definitely fast on that softer tyre, and it is going to be whether this medium tyre can really cope with the pressure and hammering it through these corners then. And I think that it's going to be one where we're going to be trying to battle left, right and centre, as Perez is now wheel to wheel as we make a stake through that corner. As you can see, the car was battling as we go left onto the brakes. We're going to go on the outside, pushing Sergio Perez even more. We actually kind of go more to the inside more than anything. We do originally aim for the outside, but where Sergio Perez was going wheel to wheel, the battle was there, that is for sure. As we go through the final few corners, on the curb we go. We're going to be losing a few seconds, that is for sure, on that one. Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton are going to get DRS, or whether we're going to have a double sweep on our hands, that is to say, as Sergio Perez is going to be taking a look at us any minute now as he's going to get DRS. We're trying to see if we can slow him down whatsoever. We're going to go late onto the brakes though, and then we are better on the brakes. He is definitely the faster car. We're better on the brakes, and through we go on Sergio Perez for another time in this Grand Prix as he battles it out with Lewis Hamilton just behind him. Lewis Hamilton going up all the way into P4 now as he tries to see if he can make any dip on his kind of 4 as of the moment. He seems to be doing really well, and he's kind of dwindling down the pack, but he's definitely made a decent performance in this Grand Prix so far, as he is in P4, and he's now going to be taking a look at us, and that's definitely one to where we can just not hold it whatsoever. We've kind of had it where we were too far back to even defend it, and Sergio Perez is now going to take a look whether we can outbrake him on this part. I don't think we're going to outbrake Lewis. We're going to outbrake Perez though, and through we go on Perez. We're into P4. Lewis Hamilton in P3 then, as we've got 5 laps left of this Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen having their own sort of battle. No worries to kind of what they're doing, because this is the one that we need to be worrying about, as Lewis Hamilton is just in front of us then, and he's in P3. He is in the last podium spots. Sergio Perez the slightest bit behind. He's about 600 of a second, 500 of a second just behind. He is definitely in the race, that is for sure, as Lewis Hamilton tries to make a healthy gap between ourselves and the few cars that he has got behind us then. And this is going to be very interesting to see how this plans out. And we have made a decent bit of gap on there, as you can see. He was away initially, but we have made some time up on Lewis, and this is definitely a battle to be watched through to the end. We've definitely stayed with Lewis Hamilton enough as we can see if we can make a move now. We've got DRS. Whether we can outbrake him, that is to be said, as we're going to go right tight to the inside, and it's literally inches of a gap to be able to try and get past him, but we do, and we are through now on Lewis Hamilton. A brilliant overtake, and that puts us back up into P3, and the worries have to be lying with himself and Sergio Perez as they battle it out for the 4th spot. Lewis Hamilton maintaining the 4th spot initially as we climb over the line, to complete lap 22 of 25. This is going to be really interesting to see what happens then, as Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton are right on my rearview mirror. Both of them are going to get DRS, so it's going to be a bit of a DRS train. Lewis Hamilton goes through straight away, whether Sergio Perez can also. We go to the left hand side, going onto the inside then as we maintain our line, and we maintain into 4th then as you've got, I'll get my words out in a minute, Lewis Hamilton just in front of us then. It has literally been a back and forth scenario where it was kind of 1 minute it was Hamilton, 1 minute it was Perez, then it was myself up into that position, but it's been absolutely crazy, and through we go once again. A switch shot, as you see, we went really wide. Lewis Hamilton is wheel to wheel then as he tries to make amends of our mistake that we did make, as we then go through then. We do hold our position, pushing Lewis Hamilton off, and through we are into P3 then as we complete the final few corners. Lap 22 or 25. The laps are coming down thick and fast then as we near the end of this Grand Prix. This is really interesting to see what happens. Lap 23 at 25 then, and Sergio Perez is right on us. Lewis Hamilton has backed off a little bit. The tyres have might gone for Lewis, but Sergio Perez has definitely got the better grip as he is through, as we try to battle if we could see if we could overtake him straight away, but it's not to be. Sergio Perez getting a really good exit out of that corner, and through he goes, and that might just be it. In all honesty, it's going to be really hard to be able to contend with the Mexican and get past him in that Red Bull machine. Here we are then, this is going to be the last lap of this Grand Prix, lap 24 of 25, Sergio Perez just in front. The 700-second gap is a fair gap in all honesty. Lewis Hamilton not troubling us in 5th, so as it stands we're going to be in 4th as we try and see if we can maintain as much time, and we get a really good bit of speed through that corner, late onto the brakes, and we seem to go really clean through there also. We're going to try and see if we can get DRS a little bit wide, which losing us a few seconds. Anything counts at this moment in time as we are right behind the machine of the Red Bull. As we switch to the right hand side, we're going to be going around the outside of this corner, wheel to wheel we go, and we are through on Sergio Perez. Lap 25 of 25, as I say, we might be able to make it stick and make it count as we try and see if we can battle off Sergio Perez. Onto the grass we go then, as we literally lose second by second by doing so. It is literally the finest margins possible as Sergio Perez is still right behind us. This is going to go right down to the wire, and I can only but feel if he's at this point in time when we are on the final straight, we might just lose out by the slightest of points, and that might just be it. But we're going to give it our all then as we go round and down, as we have got Sergio Perez about 500 second splits us as of the moment, and we're going to be completing the final few corners where he's going to be, where we get to that final straight. He's going to get DRS, we go wide there, he gains a decent bit of time and an exit out of there. Max Verstappen being the race winner, but all focus is on who's going to get third. Sergio Perez is there then, 300 per second, we go wide then as we go losing even more seconds, and we are literally minute by minute, and oh no, he's through, and oh, we have to get 4th. I'm saying that like I'm disappointed. I'm not. That was a really good race, a really well fought race, and I really enjoyed that in all honesty. Sergio Perez getting the better of me on that softer tyre and getting that DRS at the end. Driver of the day goes to myself though. Really well done, and it was just one of those where we can't win them all in terms of getting podiums, and we have to give that one to Sergio Perez. Brilliant racing. Max Verstappen claiming his Drivers' World Championship. Really well done from the Dutchman. He had a brilliant Grand Prix as he seals his victory in Brazil. As we look at the final standings then, as we did a really good sprint race, really good final race, and yeah, we did really well. I thought we really kind of maintained everything we possibly could in this Grand Prix. Felipe Massa not getting the best of finishes, P18 for him, not the best because he did get a decent start, which is really strange to see him dwindle down as much as possible, but it's one of those. It is one of those, and the gap was really minimal as well from us with Sergio Perez. We maintain our spot in P6 then on these standings, and constructors don't change, but we maintain our spot, which is the main thing. Not many races left then, as we've literally got 2 after this one. We're in Vegas tomorrow, and we are in Abu Dhabi next week, and then we're going to be starting a whole brand new season, so there's going to be a lot of driver moves, that is for sure, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. That is for sure also. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Please like and subscribe for more content just like this one, and don't forget to hit the notification button so you never miss a video. Cheers.